My name is Meredith Baxter. I've been invited tonight to speak to you on social media, particularly in travel and tourism. So a lot of what I'm actually going to say is backing up a lot of what Peter's already covered, because essentially social media is part of your entire marketing strategy. It's not a separate strategy. You may have campaigns like any other campaign that you would run in the traditional means. Same kind of concept. So it's always part of the big picture. So I'll go a few stats, a few tips with working in the industry, an example of when it works. It really does work. A few final tips, and then I'm going to actually touch on something a little different. Now, as you're all starting out in the industry as well, about how to use social media for your own personal brand as well, because this industry is all about your own networks and who you know, and it is just as important as meeting people face to face, and the follow-up now is also through social media. So I'm just going to give you a few tips on how to actually get that set up, so you're not completely exposed to your clients or your colleagues, so you can just get set up now as opposed to in 3 years' time and you suddenly realise, oh my goodness, my client just saw my Saturday night out. So a little bit about me. So I just wanted to let you know how my career has been in tourism. I was sitting in the same seats as you 8 years ago. It's been 10 years that I've been working in the industry now. I finished university 10 years ago in a Bachelor of Management Tourism, and I started out working as a reservations agent for Hayman. Now, one of my biggest tips that I ever got at that time was when my still current mentor, because I will touch on how important mentors are, Anna Gillen actually said to me in that very first year of work that every single job that you take will always give you new skills for the next job. So you've got to make sure that you go out there and learn as much as you can. Put yourself out there. Sometimes, yes, it means additional hours. Yes, it means going to different meetings, but you're here to learn. And when you go to the next job, you suddenly realise, hey, I've already got all these skills, or I've got these contacts because I've attended these events, or I've mentored with that person and I've helped them on that project. So after Hayman, that's what I did. I decided I did this program. I decided I wanted to be an international sales and marketing manager. So first thing I did, walked up to the international sales director and asked her if she could be my mentor. She took me to meetings, she took me to networking events. I then saw a job at Voyages Hotels and Resorts as an international sales coordinator. Perfect. I already had a lot of the skills already for that job because I've been doing them for the international sales director. Applied for the job and I got it. Then, as I progressed through my career, started to get a little bit more interested in marketing as well. Building my networks, I joined the Young ATEC committee and started building as many people as I could possibly know. I then took a job with Territory Discoveries, which is a wholesaler, so I wanted to go to the other side, not be a supplier, work for one of my clients essentially. And that's where I started to get into digital marketing. That's when I can remember one of my bosses saying, what's this Twitter thing? Can you just get on it and tell me what you think about it? Twitter to this day is still my favourite platform to use, but I'll go into that later. That is where I learnt a lot of the skills that I'm going to touch on today, is that time there. We pulled together the social media strategy, we executed, and it's still going to this day, and I haven't worked there for about 4 years now. I then got offered a great job back at Voyages as an inbound sales manager. So I kind of stepped more back into a sales role. That's when my networks exploded in those 2.5 years that I was there. I was out sales calls, meetings all the time, and then eventually, recently, I then became an international sales and marketing manager for Featherdale Wildlife Park. So it's taken me 10 years, but essentially I got there because every single job that I took was always those skills to build me to get to this role. So that's one of my biggest tips, and also my biggest tip of all is networking. And you're going to hear this a lot over this program. Every single speaker that comes up, if they usually say, network as much as you can. Those networks will help you get a job, will help you find out information. When I called that international sales manager that I asked to mentor me at Hayman, I called her this morning because I needed to find out about a Korean agent. I knew she worked in Korea. I haven't worked with her for 8 years. But it's all about those networks, because there are more information than you can believe. Anyway, moving on. So let's go into social. I'll touch on the stats. We'll do this quickly. Now, who here has a Facebook account? Everybody, of course. Who's on Twitter? A few. Pinterest? A few. Google+. Not so many. Who has a YouTube account? Okay. Facebook has 665 million active users. Mobile alone, using Facebook, they have 751 million users per month. So that's a good stat to know. Mobile, that's huge. Twitter has 288 million monthly active users, and the fastest growing age demographic is the 55 to 64 years in Twitter, backing onto the Facebook stat from Peter before. Google+, 359 million active users. It grew 33% in the last 6 months and now is the second largest social media network in the world. Who was on Google+? It's time for everybody else to get onto Google+. YouTube has 1 billion unique monthly visitors. 1 billion unique visitors. 6 billion hours of videos are watched each month. In America alone, it is now, for the 15 to 25 year age market, it is now more viewed than any cable television network. It's good to know. So, backing on to what Peter said, if you are going to look at doing any kind of social media campaign, there has to be a strategy. So you need to ask the question, like any single other campaign that you're ever going to run, or if you're going to even just launch a social media, what are my objectives? Why do I want Facebook? Why do I want a Google+ account? If you've already got them, why are we going to invest money into a campaign in it? Why? Why are we going to do it? Do you want to increase engagement? Do you want more fans? Do you want to, you can even use it to increase your email subscriptions. Why is the reason that you want to do it? You need to state that down. Then you need to ask the question, who is my customer? What are they using? If you are looking at your product and your biggest target market is actually using Facebook and not using Twitter, so why would you invest in a Twitter campaign? You would use a Facebook campaign, knowing who my customer is, how do they interact with my brand, what are those touch points? That should then narrow down what mediums you're going to use in social media. You saw all the different logos and brands in Peter's presentation. There's so many to use, so which one is best for your customer? You should be able to pull a lot of this information, and I will also touch on Google Analytics as one of the most important things that any company could have, because it's data about your customers. And it's amazing the amount of data that you can actually pull. So you can pull analytics reports to actually find how they're getting to your website, how they're actually interacting with your brand. You can find all this information through your Google Analytics account. You can even get custom dashboard accounts now. That is purely for social as well. So you should be able to monitor everything that you do. So after you look at who your customer is, you now also need to know the difference between a social ad and a social campaign. Now, a social campaign is looking at how you're going to engage your audience. You want to keep them active, you want to keep them talking with you, interacting with the brand, whereas a social ad is more your paid advertising through Facebook. Now, actually, paid advertising through Facebook is really quite cost effective, and you can drill it down to target new customers pretty well. I think it's been one of the most cost effective ways that I've ever used any in social, so just keep that as a note. So social campaign, you can make a coupon offer available. It's like concepts like photo contests, caption contests, video contests, where users create their own content, so you're keeping that interaction going. And then you can back it up with those ads for new users or fans. Social ads and social campaigns work very well together but it is very important to note the difference between them. Then I've got make social a part of your week. I'm a little bit more part of your day, actually. You want to review how it's tracking every week, but you do want to look at it every single day just to see how it's tracking. There's always new comments, there's always new things just to keep you interacting with your customers. There's many tools out there that help you. Hootsuite is the most common one that we do use that will actually alert you to across the different social media platforms on when you do have new comments or anything that you need to action. But yeah, just check in on it every single day, and then I actually think report on it every week. Review your objectives every week, and so then you should start getting a feel of what works, what doesn't work as well. Now, to give you a little example on how you could run a particular campaign, I'll give you an example of one we actually did at Territory Discoveries. Every single month we used to do an Only in the NT campaign. So we'd pick something that you could only do in the Northern Territory. So something like treks, hikes and walks. So we had some really fabulous hikes and walks available. So this would be an all-of campaign. We'd have print advertising, we'd be putting money into search engine marketing, we'd build landing pages, we'd make those landing like the front and center of our homepage, and we'd really push that message. We would back that up into Facebook. Certain little things like post. It doesn't always have to be who's been in a great trek in the NT. Majority of your fans probably haven't. But a lot of them might have. They've liked you for a reason. It's because they like a similar kind of product. Who's been on a trek of a lifetime? Where was it? You get more people talking, more going, yeah, I actually did an amazing one in Peru. It was great. Oh, but I've been really looking at doing the Lara Pinta Trail or something like that. So just get people talking. It stimulates the conversation and gets it going. You can then sometimes offer a discount or a coupon offer or a value add or something that if you're wanting to actually pull a return on, a purchase in there. But often Facebook isn't used for a purchase style of transaction. It's more your brand awareness and interacting with your customers as well. This is my favourite thing about social media too, is you bring in other products. What products are similar to yours or complement yours? So you can get on Kathmandu's page and start talking on there, and as Territory Discovery, start talking on their feeds, and get on Hiking Boots page and start talking on theirs. Twitter is brilliant like that. Get in there, put hashtags in, hikes, walks, start talking, just find any conversations in and start talking. Your brand is just being filtered through your market, the people you're trying to target. It's all pretty easy. Just a side thing, some good accounts to follow that I have been following and think are amazing. Things like ASOS. ASOS are brilliant across Facebook, Instagram. They're excellent. Fitness brands like Nike. Nike is probably one of the market leaders in social media. I'm not sure if anyone saw the She Runs the Night campaign. They created a whole event for social media. They did do some advertisement on the streets through billboards, but it was all through social media. That's how I learnt about it. That's how I went out and bought a new pair of Nike shoes. Nike now actually attribute 30% of their sales from social media alone. And it does actually work for them. Fashion retailers have picked social media up and done it very, very well. Another one, Instagram, Spell and the Gypsy Collective. They are a tiny little store in Byron Bay. They have 94,000 followers from around the world. How did they do that? Because they post beautiful images about their brand, not just about their clothes, everything's images of sunsets, of anything that actually is similar to their brand. They post it and they've just built a following, and it's just filtered through the social media community. Market HQ, they have 28,000 followers. Also Australian. They are they're just a collection of brands, like Mink Pink, Evil Twin, Some Days Lovin'. They all retail through that particular one shop, like transaction, online transaction. And their Instagram has 28,000 followers. And they just put up fun stuff all the time, and people are interacting with it. You look at their comments. You look at, that's also when you're seeing if it's a good, if it's a really good, say Instagram account. You can sit there and see, well, okay, they've got 97,000 followers. They put something up, but then they've only had 60 likes. They're not really engaging their audience. But if they put something up and they've got 10,000 likes, yeah, they're doing a pretty good job. And they've also got, 2,000 comments, doing a very good job. And two fashion bloggers that I actually think do a brilliant job is Tula Vintage and Sydney Fashion Blogger as well. Sydney Fashion Blogger is actually one of my friends. She changed her entire career through social media. She was a recruitment specialist and she's now a senior stylist for Cosmopolitan magazine. A few tips. You don't need to be present across everything. As I said, know your customer, know what they're using, use that. Then you're not wasting your time across all these other social media forums that your customer's not even using. How much to post? If you are operating across a lot of these different mediums, Facebook 3 to 4 times a week is usually enough, but check in on it daily. Twitter is all about your conversations. You need to commit to Twitter. You're looking at 4 to 5 times per day and making sure you're in the right conversations to talk about. Google Plus is similar to Facebook, 3 to 4 times a week. Pinterest, you can upload weekly. Instagram, again, 4 to 5 times a week. And a blog, if you've got it hosted on your website, at least once a week is good. And remember, blogging is always brilliant because it helps with your SEO as well. So, find partnerships you can leverage from. Sydney Fashion Blogger, as I was saying, she went to Greece recently. She didn't pay for a thing. She had a 5-week holiday in Greece, and all she did, and she didn't pack a thing either. People just sent her clothes and bikinis and jewellery. So find those people. If it aligns with your brand, if I could figure out a way of how she could come out to the wildlife park, I would. But our brands don't align, so there's no point. However, she is someone who I would introduce to the likes of Heyman or Qualia because they are a complementing brand. Share. Your customers are your best advocates. If they're tagging you in, they want you to share. Find the best photos, find the best comments, get in there, share it, and let them tell your story for you as well. And the power of the blogger. Keep an eye on the super bloggers who have huge followings. You just got to remember they often will charge a fee now, so to post on your product. The beauty of what I love about digital marketing and social marketing is that everything is measurable. Every single thing that you do. So it's great when you can go back to your boss at the end of a campaign and you can go back and you can say, we have had this many shares, this many impressions, this far of a reach, this is how many, some can even go down to this is how many purchases we've had. Everything is measurable. You can see how they move around your page, what works, what doesn't work. So that is one of the most brilliant things of it all. So an example of when it works. So I've been with Featherdale for a month now, and my very first week there, my colleague Kelly, who'd been looking after the social media accounts, was like, okay, we're going to put this post up, and she's like, so what have I got to do? And so she's put up this photo of our Kangaroo Island kangaroo and put in, enjoying a lazy day at Featherdale, Australia. Oh, that's great. And see how she just put Australia? Because I was like, that was literally her first one. I'm like, you need to tag in Australia, okay? So she's like, Australia. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. I would have put in more of a sentence, but. And what you're going to do too is we're going to post it on Tourism Australia's Facebook page, See Sydney, and also Visit New South Wales as well. Because when we do that too, we give them the right to use our photos if they so wish. By this Sunday, Australia.com, which has 4.7 million followers, decided to post the same photo of our Kangaroo Island kangaroo. However, pixelated his private parts and said censored for Facebook. Within 24 hours, we had over 30,000 likes. We had over 4,000 shares and 1,700 comments. And there was this clear argument going on how dare you pixelate out a natural animal's genitalia? This is terrible, how dare you, Australia? And others, people getting on going, oh, it's a joke, get over it, so silly. And we're like, oh, okay. And look, they tagged us in too, brilliant. Anyway, within 3 days, that was the Australian news that it came across. We also named him Big Baz the next day. Big Baz was on Sunrise on the Wednesday morning. Big Baz was on Chinese news on 2 different channels. He also filtered throughout the US media. Huffington Post was in there, which is a good one. Throughout the UK media, throughout the German media, throughout the travel industry trade news, and also the animal press. So our little photo of Big Baz, and with that, our brand, Featherdale Wildlife Park, was tagged into every single part of it. We just went global. Good old Big Baz. That cost us nothing. That was our results. We had 537 new likes in that 1 week. Our reach went 617,000, up 2,845% from the week before. 1,200 people talking about it, so 92% up from the week before. We don't have access to Tourism Australia's results, but I can only imagine how far that was. They were very happy. Yes, they were. We were on the phone with them every single day. Just quickly, see, back all those little things. When you're running these social media campaigns or even a digital campaign, I really strongly recommend getting on Storyfy. It's a really simple way of actually storing all this information. So it searches across all of the different, so through the web, Facebook, blogs, everything. All I had to do was type in Big Baz and it'd pull up anything that had Big Baz pulled into it. So Storify. So it's a really easy way of, again, when you're doing reporting at the end to your management, you've actually got examples of how far the reach actually went beyond Facebook. So, final tips. Social media is evolving so very quickly. You need to constantly test. Just keep testing things. Why didn't that post work? I don't know. Why didn't it work? Well, have a look. Try a different post. Why isn't it engaging your audience? Why is it engaging? Keep testing and you'll start seeing patterns on what's working and what isn't. Educate yourself. You know, Google everything. It's brilliant. You can sign up to all these blogs. I will strongly recommend actually signing up to the Google Analytics blog because they bring up brilliant things. Follow digital marketing organisations. E-Consultancy is one of my favourite e-newsletters that I get. They give me a top 10 digital stats from around the world every single week, and they highlight who's doing it well, who's not doing it so well as well. And I've pulled a lot of brilliant stuff from them. Follow their blogs, read it, just make your Google alerts and start just seeing what other people are doing out there. Now, when you are posting Facebook, you've got to remember your tone of voice on every single post that you do. You've got to remember this isn't you, this isn't me, Meredith, posting, this is Featherdale Wildlife Park. So you've always got to, again, look back at your brand. What is the pillars of your brand? How is that contributing to the pillars of your brand? So make sure that that tone of voice is always reflecting that brand as well. So, and you should then be reaching your audience correctly. Now, a little last tip also for you guys is you're probably all sitting in your current jobs now and thinking, well, we have a marketing department or we have a PR manager or we have a creative agency that manages all this and I have nothing to do with it, so how could I? Just backing up what Peter actually said before, you guys are the experts. You guys are the ones that are using these social media platforms. You know what you do. That's always the best thing. My last coordinator, every time she had a question, I used to always go back to her and go, well, how would you book that? How would you want to interact with that brand? If you're your brand's customer, you probably have got a pretty good idea of how your customer's going to interact with it. So if you have a good social media idea, or you want, to pass that, information on, put your hand up, say something. Because quite often you've got PR managers who don't know, who've come out of the traditional PR style, and they often don't know. So they're always looking for help and guidance and anything. So just say, hey, I've got a good idea, or even, hey, I don't think that post is going to work, or just get up there and just say, because you guys are the experts. There's such a new, evolving part of the world, I was about to say the tourism industry, but of the world, that everyone's kind of scrambling to try and figure out how to use it the best way. And as Peter was saying, so many of them are failing, because they don't know what they're doing. So, you guys do know what you're doing. You've been embraced in the social media realm for a very long time, well, from its inception. So make sure you get in there and put your hand up and say, yeah, I do know how to use that. Because if you never know, if you keep putting your hand up and they start picking up, hey, you are pretty good at this, you never know where you're going to end up. You can end up the head of social media at Tourism Australia, like Jesse did at 30. Why? He put his hand up. He knew what he was doing. He kept testing and testing. And at the end of the day, he became the head of social media for Tourism Australia. So make sure you put your hand up. You guys know more than you realise. So I will now be super quick, but this is something very, very important, I think, for everybody. Social media and your own brand, okay? So I was saying before the importance of networking, okay? Networking is just not attending all the events, it's also the follow-up, and also the fact is, the reality is most people today are going to go, can I be your Facebook friend? And they're a client, and you're like, oh, I don't really want to, but I can't say no to a client. So what do you do? Okay, this was from a year ago. There's 3 people there that were clients of mine, and I was like, oh, okay, what do I do? Do I confirm or do I ignore? Because you know what, I really don't want them to see my Saturday night photos. I don't want to see what my friends are tagging me in, because you know what, they're not so flattering at times. So what am I going to do? So this is what you're all going to do. This is your task for this week. You're going to go to your Facebook settings, and you're going to go to your privacy settings and create a customized list. It's brilliant because you're all brand new to the industry, so you can start afresh. You don't have to go back and do it all later. So you are going to create a list. Mine is called Work and Old High School Friends. And I restrict what they can and can't see. I include no photos that I'm tagged in, no posts from others on my wall, and I let them see my photos that I post up, because I am in travel. I travel a lot. I'm always in amazing, beautiful places, so I think it's great that I can put up these and share it with my travel industry friends. So I keep that, but if you don't want them to see what you post, you can put that on too. I would say keep your status updates on there, because you've got to give them something, or otherwise there's no point being your friend at all. So keep your statuses in there, but just try and remember that when you're posting stuff up. So this is how you set up a list. So you go to your friend, Elise here, and you see the little friends section. So that's my work and old high school friends. So that's anyone who requests me now that I work with, or that's a client, I will drop straight into that list. I will say accept into that list straight up. So all you need to do, go to your privacy settings, go to your timeline and tagging and select custom. Custom privacy, make visible to these people or lists. And you can you choose friends, hide this from these people or lists, and then your chosen list. It's pretty easy. So just going back, so you see that little new list section, you go to there, add new list, name it to what you want, go to your privacy and add those in. It's pretty easy. So if you get those, hey, even if you're The girl that works 2 desks down from you wants to be friends, but you're like, oh, I don't want to be at work, you know, in case I ever chuck a sickie. Well, remember that, don't do that. Don't post it on Facebook if you do, because that's the fact, is that, yeah, you can put them in that list, and so you can still be friends with everyone, and they don't have to see everything in your private life. So it's great. So what this does, it allows you to still engage with your clients on a little bit more of a personal level, and creates a rapport, because if you're working in sales, that's everything that is about your job, is about your relationship. So it's a brilliant way of saying, yes, I will be your friend and I will let you into that part of my personal life. However, it still separates your personal and your work life for you. And it's good to include your colleagues on that list too. I included that image there, that off to Cooktown with Annalie. Though Annalie's now left the country, but Annalie was one of my biggest clients. And we're on a famil together, so it was great. I was able to check her in with me. Now that's one of the things too, is always ask their permission too, if you can check them in as well, because sometimes they might want to say no as well. So always ask their permission to do that before. If you're into Twitter, now Twitter's a little bit more open. I've used Twitter, as I said, I was on to Twitter when it first kind of came out. I've used it to build my reputation in the tourism industry as an expert. I've kind of been really quite strategic on who I follow and also what conversations I try to speak in. Easy to set up, quick response times, brilliant for conferences because it makes conferences so much more fun because they often have a hashtag, so you can get into full conversations with other people at the conference while the speaker's going on, and you can be commenting away. It makes it really fun. And when you're doing that, it actually helps build your following as well, because a lot of people will start going, well, that person obviously knows what they're talking about. And if you're hashtagging in travel, or my favourite one, TTOT, which is Travel Talk on Twitter, that's a global travel community. They start seeing that you're talking about these things, they go, hey, this girl knows what she's talking about, start following her. So I love Twitter, get into it, talk away, if you're going to do it, commit, keep checking into it. I've already tweeted twice tonight. Yeah, and I tagged you in it. So, LinkedIn, I cannot speak highly enough for LinkedIn. Who's here on LinkedIn? Whose LinkedIn is up to date? Oh, quite a few. Who's search engine optimized their LinkedIn? You can actually do that. If you're looking for work, you can optimize your LinkedIn profile to make sure that if anyone's looking around for particular roles, that your name comes up first. So I was lucky enough, I did some work with a digital marketing agency who actually did mine for free for me. So LinkedIn is brilliant, it's purely work, keeps it professional, and as I have recently had to, sometimes when you're in a sales position and you leave a job, you often have to leave all your business cards behind because legally that is the company's property. This is a way of keeping all those contacts. So it's brilliant. Get in there. You can say, I've got 500 plus people. I didn't realise I knew 500 plus people. Professionally, I do, which is great. Google Plus. Why Google Plus is amazing and it's growing so fast is because Google have been very, very smart in linking it with all their applications. If you have noticed, if you have a Gmail account, you can automatically create a Google Plus account immediately. I love Google Plus because I feel like it's all the social media things put together in their best format. It's searchable, you can turn things on and off. The list thing I was telling you on Facebook, they do it for you. So you sit there and go, okay, I want to be friends with that person, but I just want to follow them. So I'm just going to follow them. So you can go follow straight away. I don't want to know anything else about them. Then it has a friends list, a family list, it has it all. So you can do a status update on Google and go only visible to friends. No one else sees it. None of your followers, nothing else. It's hashtag searchable, even though Facebook is as well now, but they just released a report saying that it means nothing because it's not the user behavior on Facebook. People aren't searching by hashtags, but people do on Google+. It links in Google Places. It has all your check-ins. Everything is connected for you through your Google+. It's brilliant. That's why more and more people are getting onto it. the Google business applications, more and more businesses are using it now, and more of them are using it for the intranets as well. So that's why, another reason why the sign-ups are so huge. Pinterest, to be honest, Pinterest is just fun. Pinterest changed a little bit of the social media. A few years ago, you would have heard all social media marketers talking about content is king, content is king, content is king. Pinterest changed it to image is king. It became image really does tell 1,000 words. So Pinterest kind of changed everything, Instagram along with it, and then for retailers especially, it's, you can just see things just, one pin just go crazy across the whole wide world. I've bought boots from America from finding them through Pinterest because it all links back to your website too. So if you see an image that, like if you're doing it, say you've got a personal account, you want to test it out, that's another thing I'll tell you. Test things out on your own social media. You can test, I actually have a whole suite of things that I use to test separate from my brand, and then I can try it on my brand if I think so. It's a good way to test things out. Pin an image from your website, see how far it goes. That image directly links always back to your website. No matter where it goes in the web, in the Pinterest world, will always link back to your website. Retailers have seen sales just skyrocket through Pinterest. So get onto it. It is addictive. Beware. Now, a few tips for your Facebook account. Remember clients seeing your status updates. Please don't post after 11 p.m. Try not to. Check-ins are okay, but try not to do it after 11. I have broken that rule before, but try not to. Don't have a Facebook argument with anybody either, because again, this is your entire social network and also your now work network that's on there. And then if you're checking in a client, just ask if that's okay. If you find something work-related to be interesting, Facebook, Google+, or tweet about it. You'll be surprised at the replies and retweets here. So Dion there from Kingfisher was tweeting me about the Big Baz. Justin Catroni, he tweeted me back. Justin Catroni is Google Analytics advocate. He is one of the most sought after people in the world. He is Google Analytics #1. And he was tweeting me. Brilliant. Bruce Poontip, who's the owner of G Adventures, he was retweeting me from, I tweeted about a conference he was speaking at there you go, at ATEC Symposium. And I love the bottom one. Matt Corby retweeted me recently at Splendor at the Grass, in the grass. That was exciting. But you never know. If you ever have that feeling of, I'm not sure how this update is going to be taken by anybody, just don't post it. If you've ever got that gut feeling, just don't do it because you're right. If you do have some instant regret, just delete it straight away. But let your personality shine through on your personal Facebook as well when you're starting to get clients in there, because you know what? People want to get to know you. As I said, this industry is about relationships. So, let your own personality shine through at times. And every single person on that who's commented on that status are travel industry people that I've worked with or were clients. So remember, it is a really fun time to be in, particularly tourism marketing. There has been a bit of a, I think a little bit of a revolution again, another technological revolution with social in the last few years. You guys are at the beginning of it, so you have the chance to be the forefront of it. So, get out there, try things out, be the experts, put your hand up, don't be scared and say, no, that's really not going to work for these reasons. It's such a great time to be a part of it. We work in the travel industry. We have some of the most beautiful content available out of all the industries. So get out there, post it, share it, befriend it, and have a good time with it. And that's it. Thank you.